OP's mother-in-law is demanding they move her son's late wife's grave so she can visit both of her babies. Trigger warning: death, grief, mental health issues. My Mill Linda wants us to dig up my husband's dead wife Caroline so she can put her next to their childhood dog. So I, 31, married James three years ago. His first wife Caroline died in 2017 from cancer. She was 29. They were married 6 years. I met him in 2019 and we took it really slow because obviously that's a lot. His mom, Linda, 64, was apparently very close to Caroline, like called her every day close, went on trips together, the whole thing. Linda's been mostly fine with me. Like, she's polite, but there's this thing where she'll show me photos of Caroline without me asking. Or she'll say things like, oh, Caroline made this dish better, when I'm literally holding the same dish. James says that's just how she processes grief and I should be patient. Which, okay, I guess, but it's been like almost 8 years since Caroline died. Anyway, Linda's childhood home is being sold. It's this property upstate that's been in her family forever. Her parents died and her brother wants to sell. And apparently, there's a pet cemetery on the property, like a fenced area where they buried family dogs and cats over the decades. Linda's been freaking out about the new owners maybe building over it or something. Last month at Sunday dinner, Linda starts talking about how she wants to move the graves before the sale closes. And James is like, okay, Mom, we can help you do that, thinking she means the pets. And she goes, no, the pets can stay. I mean, Caroline. Complete silence. I'm sitting there with pot roast in my mouth. James goes, what? And Linda says, well, you know, I always visit Caroline's grave on Thursdays. I bring her flowers. I talk to her about my week. I can't just stop doing that. And if I move Buttons, that's her childhood dog, then Caroline should come too so I can visit them both at the same time. It's more efficient. Efficient. She said efficient about digging up a human person. James tries to explain that you can't just exhume someone and rebury them in a pet cemetery in your backyard, but Linda's already got this whole plan. She looked into it apparently. You need permits in a funeral home and it costs like $8,000, but she's willing to pay. She's already called a place. She wants to put Caroline next to Buttons in this new plot she's buying near her condo. She actually measured it already. She has the dimensions written on a napkin that she pulls out of her purse. 8 by 4 feet, enough for both plots plus a small bench. I'm not saying anything because this is absolutely not my place, but also, what the fuck? And Linda looks at me and goes, you understand, right? You're a woman. You know how important it is to keep your family close. And I said, Caroline's not your family, Linda. She's buried with her actual parents. Wrong thing to say, I guess. Linda starts crying. James is glaring at me. And Linda's going on about how she is Caroline's real family. She was her mother for 6 years. She loved her more than her own mother did. Which, how would she even know that? And this is her last chance to make sure Caroline's properly taken care of. Then she says her parents didn't even pick a nice headstone. It's just gray granite, so plain. I already designed a better one with roses carved in it. She has a sketch. She shows us the sketch. It's on graph paper. James drove me home early and didn't talk to me the whole way. Since then, Linda's been texting James every day with updates. She found a funeral home that will do it. She got quotes from 3 places, actually, and made a spreadsheet. She wants to have a reinterment ceremony where we all say goodbye to the old grave and hello to the new one. She made a Pinterest board with like floral arrangements and what kind of refreshments to serve after. Little finger sandwiches. I saw it because she sent James the link and his laptop was open. Last Thursday I came home and Linda was in our apartment. James gave her a key last year for emergencies and apparently this qualified. She was in our closet, going through my dresses. She said she wanted to see if I had anything appropriate for the ceremony, and also she needed to compare sizes because, and this is where I literally felt my brain break, she has Caroline's wedding dress, and she wants to refresh it before the reburial so Caroline can wear it again. She was buried in her favorite yellow sundress, but that's too casual for this. This is a special occasion. I asked why the fuck she has Caroline's wedding dress, and she said James gave her all of Caroline's important clothes after she died because Linda asked, and he was too grief-stricken to think clearly. She's kept them in vacuum-sealed bags in her storage unit. She visits them sometimes, visits the clothes. I made her leave. I actually physically walked her to the door and locked it behind her. Then I called James at work and he was like, okay, that's a little much, but she's just trying to honor Caroline. And I said she wants to dress a corpse in a wedding gown like it's a fucking doll. And he goes, don't talk about Caroline like that. We're talking about digging up a dead woman. I'm the one being disrespectful, apparently. James has been staying at Linda's condo for 5 days now to, quote, to help her through this difficult time. He sends me pictures of them going through old photo albums. Yesterday's photo was Linda holding a lock of blonde hair in a Ziploc bag with a date written on it in Sharpie. April 13th, 2017. I don't know if that's Caroline's hair or the dog's hair, and I'm too afraid to ask. My friend says I should just let it happen because it's not my body in the ground and maybe it'll give Linda closure, but my other friend says this is some Norman Bates shit. I've been looking at one-bedroom apartments on Zillow at 2 a.m. I don't know if I'm looking for me or if I'm just seeing what's out there. Linda texted me this morning. I know we got off on the wrong foot with the closet incident, but I'd really like you there for the ceremony. Caroline would want her successor to pay respects. Also, do you know James? Suit size, I want to get him something new to wear, maybe gray to match the casket liner. The casket liner. Yo, the husband's late wife died of cancer, but the tumor is still alive, and by tumor, I mean his mother. Also, what kind of fucked up logic is it to claim you respect someone, but then want to bury them in a literal pet cemetery? Honestly, I don't think she can even legally touch a corpse anyway. Only the actual next of kin has the rights to do that. But whatever, there's a better story out there. My mother-in-law told my son that daddy loves grandma more than mommy. My Mill told my 4-year-old son that daddy loves grandma more than mommy, and now he repeats it at bedtime. So this happened 3 days ago, and I'm still trying to process it because what the actual fuck? My son is 4, he's at that age where he repeats everything like a parrot. My Mill has always been clingy with my husband, but this is new territory even for her. She watches him 2 afternoons a week while I'm at work. I manage a dollar store. Thrilling stuff. Last Tuesday, I picked him up from her house, and the whole drive home he was quiet, which isn't like him. Then at bedtime, he's tucking in his stuffed rabbit, and he goes, "Daddy loves grandma more than you, mommy. Grandma said so." Just flat, matter of fact. Like he was telling me the rabbit's name. I felt my stomach drop, but I kept my voice normal and asked what he meant. He said grandma told him that daddies always love their mommies the most. It's a special love that mommies can't understand. She said daddy calls her every single day because he misses her so much. Which, he does call her daily, but that's because she literally calls him and guilts him if he doesn't answer. I texted my husband, who was working late, and he called his mom immediately. She denied it, said he must have misunderstood because they were talking about how much daddy loves his family. My husband believes her because apparently his 4-year-old son just accidentally constructed a full narrative about hierarchical love. Here's the thing that's making me insane. 2 days later, he is playing with his toy cars and he lines them up and goes, "This one is daddy's car. It goes to grandma's house first, then work, then our house." I asked him why that order and he said because grandma needs daddy most. I haven't let her watch him since Tuesday. Told her I'm using a different sitter. She called me yesterday crying, saying I'm punishing her for something a child made up, that she would never say something like that. But he keeps adding details. Yesterday, he told me grandma said that when boys grow up, they marry someone like their mommy, and daddy married someone with brown hair like grandma. I have blonde hair. Mill has dark brown hair. This is so fucking specific. My husband thinks I'm overreacting. He said even if she said something, it was probably innocent and got twisted in a kid's brain. He won't agree to stop her visits entirely, just supervised only, which I said fine. Supervised by who? Because I'm not doing it. His sister, who doesn't talk to her mom anymore for reasons she won't fully explain, texted me this morning after my husband told her what happened. All she said was, "She did the same thing to me about Dad's girlfriend when I was 6, but worse, don't leave them alone." Then she didn't respond to my follow-up questions. I feel crazy. My son is in the bathroom right now singing, and he's singing some song about grandmas being queens, and I've never heard it before. I don't know where he learned it. My husband just got home and heard it and said it's probably from Cocomelon. Comment user 1, your Sil said, "But worse," and then ghosted. Caller, show up at her house. IDC, you need to know what she meant because that's a massive red flag. Comment user 2, the brown hair thing made my skin crawl. That's so deliberately calculated to create insecurity in a small child about his mother. What's your husband's damage? That he thinks this is fine. Comment user 3, my ex-Mill did this shit, but she told my daughter that daddy's first family was grandma and grandpa, and we were the second family. Took 2 years of therapy to undo. Document everything he says and the dates. You might need it. OP's replied, Jesus, I'm sorry. How do I even document this? Do I just write it in my notes app? I feel stupid like I'm building a legal case against a 67-year-old woman over weird comments. Comment user 4, Mill sounds unhinged, but also you're spiraling over a song about grandmas? Kids learn random shit everywhere. I wouldn't die on that hill specifically. OP's replied, maybe you're right about the song. I don't know anymore. I'm not sleeping well. Original update. Mother-in-law told my son, Daddy loves grandma more than mommy. I found the grandma song. December 23rd, 2024, 5 days after original post. I wasn't going to update this fast, but something happened yesterday that I can't just sit on. First, I did get in touch with my husband's sister. She didn't want to talk on the phone, but she sent me a long message. Apparently, when she was younger, around 7, their dad started dating someone after the divorce. Mill told her that the girlfriend was trying to replace grandma as the first lady of the family and that she needed to help daddy remember who he really belonged to. She said Mill bought her a necklace and told her to give it to her dad from grandma to remind him. Their dad ended up breaking up with that girlfriend after a few months. Sil doesn't know if Mil had anything to do with it, but she said there were other women over the years, and Mil always found ways to insert herself. Sil stopped talking to her mom after Mil told Sil's husband at their wedding reception that she's not easy to live with, call me when you need advice. So that's generational fucking nightmare fuel. Now the song thing. My son was singing it again yesterday morning, same melody. I recorded him on my phone. The lyrics were, "Grandmas are the queens, mommies are the helpers. Grandmas know the secrets that daddies always tell them." I felt insane listening to it. I posted the audio in a parenting Discord I'm in asking if anyone recognized it. No one did. It's not from CoComelon, not from any kids show anyone could find. One person suggested it might be something Mil made up. I confronted my husband with the recording last night. He listened to it and his face just fell. He tried calling his mom and she didn't answer, which is unprecedented because she always answers his calls. He called 4 times. Finally, she texted back saying she was at church and would call later. She didn't call. My husband drove to her house this morning. She wasn't there. Her car was gone. He called her friends. No one knew where she was. Around 2 petameters, she finally called him back and said she'd been driving around thinking because she was so upset that I was trying to alienate her from her family. She said the song was something her own mother used to sing to her, and she taught it to him because it was a sweet memory. When my husband asked why the lyrics were about mommies being helpers, she said that's not what the words were. The words were mommies are the holders, like they hold the family together. But I have him singing helpers on video. My husband played it for her on speakerphone. There was this long silence, and then she said he must have misheard her. My husband told her she can't see him unsupervised anymore, maybe not at all for a while. She started crying, said this was because of me, that she knew I always hated her. My husband said it wasn't about me, it was about what he keeps saying. She told him he was breaking her heart and hung up. She posted on Facebook an hour later, just a quote graphic that said, "A son is a son till he takes a wife, a daughter's a daughter all of her life," with a broken heart emoji. My husband's phone has been going off with texts from his aunts asking what's going on, why is he hurting his mother? I don't know what the fuck we do now. My son asked this morning when he's going to grandma's house again, and I didn't know what to say. Yo, honestly, it's probably better for OP's son to just stay home instead of visiting his grandmother. Otherwise, she might end up giving him a lobotomy, and then he'll literally be singing that grandma song on a non-stop loop. This whole thing feels like some mafia hierarchy where everyone has their own ranks and families. Same vibe here. The mother is the second family, while the grandma and the dad are the first family. It looks like OP's husband's family has this intense generational obsession with grandmas that gets passed down, and pretty soon, that love is going to become way too fucking strong.